Hello everybody, welcome to our live about the nutrients that are involved in both the immune system and in mental health. So I'm just going to invite Caitlyn from KidStar Nutrients to join me right now. We discuss. Oh, there she is.
Hello.
Quick today. There was no IG delay today, so there's Caitlyn.
Yeah, it popped right up on my screen. I was like, well, that's nice.
I know, that's different. So, so welcome, Caitlyn. And Caitlyn, well, before we start, do you want to tell people who you are and a little bit about your company, KidStar?
Definitely. So I'm Caitlyn Vanderhaeghe from KidStar Nutrients, and I founded KidStar in actually January of 2020 when I was searching for supplements for my own family, and I came up empty-handed after looking at all the ingredients, realizing we needed something better for our families, and there were other families out there that also were looking for better supplements for their families that their kids would actually take. So that's the big part. Got to make sure they'll actually take it.
I imagine that's the most complicated part in formulating a supplement for kids is this palatable, or is it going to get spat out at every breakfast?
Well, pretty much. I know I came from making adult supplements, and you put it in a capsule. So you really don't have to worry too much. You swallow it, you're done. When you go to kids, it's, taste, look, everything about it a kid will care about.
Textures, size, everything. Yeah. And definitely I think your supplements are a hit with most people that I recommend them to, and my kids certainly take them without issues. So yes,
well, thank you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
And today we're talking about immunity, all the nutrients that we need for our immune system, because it is the season already. I'm sure you've noticed in your kids' classes, people are already down with colds and flus and all the other nasties that go around this time of year. And this causes a lot of issues with nutrients getting depleted. And those nutrient depletions cause issues with behavior and learning. So people tend to sort of group the nutrients in, we need to build up their immune system. We need to build up their, digestion, all these different things. They're all connected, and immunity and mental health are really highly connected in terms of the nutrients that both of them demand. So I wanted to talk to you about 3 specific nutrients today, and then about your Moducare, which is something a bit different, which probably most people don't understand. So I'm myself included, I don't fully understand exactly how it works, but yeah, I wanted to talk about first vitamin C. I know you guys have a new vitamin C, which we're using now. And a lot of people don't really know the connection between mental health, or, what would you call it? Work, I guess we'll call it work performance, but for kids it would be school performance, and vitamin C. So we know that when we get a cold, we get a flu, a lot of people take vitamin C because we know that it builds up our immune system. And when we get sick, our body uses more of it. Yeah. But there are studies as well showing that when we boost up people's vitamin C, assuming they're not already getting tons and tons of it, but the typical people, when we boost up their vitamin C, it actually improves their focus and it improves their work engagement. So we're talking about kids with ADHD who are having a hard time focusing. Add into that, they get sick, which is going to help them to be unfocused, right?
Oh, yeah.
Then we add vitamin C going down. So it's kind of like the hits keep coming and all these systems get impacted. So I usually do recommend people supplement a little bit with vitamin C during the winter months, especially. For us, I just use it all year round because you never know what's circulating.
It's the same as us. And it's actually interesting. There's some studies out there that say that we're actually only 9% of us are actually getting adequate levels of vitamin C, which is crazy because it's the thing that everyone always says, oh, I'm getting enough vitamin C. I take vitamin C, but we also just might need more. And that's really where the disconnect is how often do we take it? When do we need it? Of course, when we're sick, we take more of it. It actually helps stimulate white blood cells. So, that helps us defend what we need to defend and come in contact with. And of course, there's actually different types of vitamin C out there. So some are better than others.
Yeah. So tell us what your vitamin C is and why that's better than, I know it's not the same as the vast majority of the ones that are around. So maybe you can tell what it is.
Of course. So there's buffered types of vitamin C. So that's where the ascorbic acid, the vitamin C, also has other things added to it, which also makes it get to where it needs to go. It's absorbed better, and it's actually gentler on your intestines and your stomach. So ours is a magnesium ascorbate, so it's buffered with a little bit of magnesium. So you can have potassium, magnesium. There's a few different other options. And so for us, we chose magnesium to make sure that it was gentle on our kids' stomachs and our intestines, and it gets where it needs to go and is actually absorbed. Yeah.
Right.
And of course, no sugar. I wanted to make sure. Some vitamin C products actually have sugar in them. And we're talking about the immune system. We really don't want sugar in our kids' supplements because it hinders your body's not working properly. I think it's 1 teaspoon of sugar can turn off a macrophage for up to like 5 to 7 hours. So it's unable to do its job when we have white sugar.
Yeah. Macrophage is like a type of immune cell. And it's true. When we have a lot of sugar in our system, not only that, but our body will kind of shunt a bunch of our nutrients away from the immune system to lower the blood sugar as well. It kind of red flag, blood sugar is too high. We have to use a bunch of nutrients to lower it. And unfortunately, a lot of those are the same that are needed for the immune system as well. So everything is so connected.
It is.
It's so
it
connected.
Really is.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But I should have brought, well, you must have it behind you, the KidStar vitamin C.
Oh, I do. I have it in arm's reach this time because last time I think it was on a shelf. This is our little vitamin C here. Nice chewable one. And we've actually added organic fruit to the formula as well. So if you even get some whole food vitamin C as well in the product.
Yeah. And it is good. And it's not as horribly sour. A lot of vitamin C chewables are really like,
they're
really
tart.
sour.
Oh yeah. They're just, you get that little.
This one is nice. It doesn't like rub your, when I take vitamin C chewable, sometimes I'll get like, my tongue gets kind of like abrasive.
Oh yeah.
Almost because of it, but this one's good. And it's, it seems to do the trick.
We went through a few formulas on it to make sure all the kids liked it. And you're right. Sometimes the vitamin C can be so tart or sour that you're kind of, you don't want to have too many. But the magnesium magnesium ascorbate makes it a little bit gentler, less of that tart hit. And then of course the full formula makes it taste the way it is. Yeah.
And so someone did ask me, someone texted or messaged me last week about why does it say magnesium when it's vitamin C? So I think you explained that, how it's like a blend of a type of vitamin C and magnesium.
Yes.
Because they were saying, is this a magnesium or is this a vitamin C? And
I know. It's very, very common misunderstanding. Believe me, a lot of people ask, and it's just a buffered aspect. So there's actually a very, very small amount of magnesium in the formula compared to the vitamin C, but it is a vitamin C.
Yeah, that's what I want people to understand. There's always something confusing on the label of a supplement because of labeling laws and whatnot.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, it's true. Yeah.
And then the other thing that most of us, I've read so many different studies about this, of vitamin D. I have read studies where it says 10% of us don't get enough. And I've read studies where it says 97% of us don't get enough. So somewhere between 10 and 90%, 97% of the population is not getting enough vitamin D.
But it's true though. So even Health Canada on their website, they said in the winter months, 40% of Canadians were under the cutoff for an adequate level of vitamin D. That's a huge amount of the population.
Yeah.
And you're right. There are studies of people in Florida who are in Sunshine State, and they also have very high levels of low vitamin D in the population. So I wouldn't put it past the 97%, to be honest.
It could be depending on where they live. If it's Norway, it probably is 97%.
And we're not going outside, right? So if you're not going outside when it's nice and sunny outside, you're not getting vitamin D from the sun. You have to supplement. And I'm sure, as you know, as soon as you have a baby, I think it's in like the first 3 days, they start telling you to supplement with vitamin D from birth. So it is the one supplement that from birth we are basically told every time we see the doctor, vitamin D. So it's important.
True. However, a lot of people aren't being reminded of that. I work with so many parents who after babyhood, after the baby, they've never been told to supplement again with vitamin D. And this is just this is just everybody in Canada and probably in the world should be taking if you're not outside a lot and if you're not in a sunny area. And, it's not a dangerous supplement to take. It's not like you can really overdo it with a simple, you know, a simple
Oh yeah.
normal dose, right?
Yep. The maintenance dose is very safe.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who think after the baby D drop thing is done, that's it. No more vitamin D for the kids, and a lot of kids are getting a lot of infections and are having issues with cognition as well, because with D as well. So we need it for our immunity. It builds up the immunity. We use it up when we get sick. And also, especially important for kids with ADHD is that it helps with cognitive shifting or task shifting. So switching from one task to another, which is already hard for kids with ADHD. So if you add in there not enough vitamin D, then they get sick and they got less vitamin D. It's just something everyone should be taking.
Oh yeah. I completely agree. Everyone needs to take it. And it also helps with respiratory infections. So, you know, the one good thing that came out of of COVID was all the research that we got to do with vitamin D. And so, you know, regular colds and flus, it helps with respiratory issues in general. So, and it is the least expensive supplement on the market. It is very affordable. Families can afford vitamin D, and we all should be taking it. So that's a great thing about vitamin D, is that it's very accessible.
Yeah, it's not like some of the other, like probiotics, which are
very expensive.
Can often be very expensive and not really doable. But your vitamin D, you can show people it's a spray. I like that too, because kids, I find with the droppers, sometimes it's a bit, you know, an 8-year-old can't really aim the dropper right on a piece of fruit, but this is it's like a Banaka spray, vitamin D form, and it tastes good too, right? It's got like an orangey flavor to it. So.
It's like an orange creamsicle. And ours is licensed for babies too, so 0 months and up. So we want to make sure that our products that we sell, the whole family can take them, because, you know, as a mom of 3, it's very difficult to have different products for everybody in the house. So your infants can take it, toddlers, teenagers, adults, seniors, everyone can take the same product. It's 500 IUs per spray. So depending on the age, you can increase based on your needs.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that actually. I didn't realize that it was 0 and up. Okay.
Yes.
Telling people to do that then, instead of putting the drops on their bottles and whatnot.
Oh, I know. I know. I remember the drops. You'd sit there and you're like waiting, and then they'd all come out, and you're like, ah.
That's true. Vitamin problems.
It's true. Yes.
And then the other supplement I wanted to go over, because I get asked about this a lot, but it's not addressed enough. Anywhere, I don't think, is iron.
Yes.
So many kids not getting enough iron. So many kids and adults don't understand. The people think of iron as just like the energy, you know, strongman Popeye supplement, but it's more implicated, I think, in immunity, and it's very implicated in mental health and learning. People with iron deficiency show signs of learning deficiencies, learning disabilities.
No, it's true. Like, think about it. Everything with iron has to do with oxygen.
Yeah.
So if we're not getting enough oxygen to our cells, and we don't have enough red blood cells, you know, everything becomes even worse. So if you're tired and you already have an attention issue, well, that's just going to be layers and layers and layers on top of each other. Like, it really is. You know, it's already hard to pay attention sometimes, and then if you're fatigued, and you have shortness of breath, it all just adds together. But also, I wrote something down because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget it about our iron. Okay, so iron is actually necessary for immune cells to increase and mature. Yeah. So if we don't have enough iron, we actually can become sick like a lot more often. Yeah. And that some people actually don't find out they're iron deficient until they go get a blood test, because they're constantly sick. So that's a big one. And of course, we always talk about mental health. It's so important, especially with our kids. So getting our iron levels checked early on in life is very important.
Yeah. And actually, I think that, like, if your kid has ADHD, if they've been diagnosed, you should be asking for an iron test if you have a cooperative physician, because there are studies going back 20 years that are showing a correlation between iron levels and ADHD symptoms. Like, when iron levels go too low, or not even too low, like not even deficient low, the symptoms go up. And then as they supplement, iron levels go up, ADHD symptoms go down. So you can actually predict ADHD severity based on the iron levels in somebody's blood sometimes. So it's really important for that. And every time we're getting sick, we get a hit again. We're depleted a little bit.
It's completely true. So a lot of pediatricians, when kids hit 50 ferritin, a level of 50, is when the behavioral symptoms start to appear with iron deficiency. But yeah, you're right. We're not deficient until the hemoglobin and the ferritin are low. And your ferritin's normally around 12 when that occurs. So 12 to 50 is a huge range where we're having these behavioral symptoms, but we're not yet deficient. So we really should be checking early on.
Yeah. And it's different in different countries, right? Because I work with people in the States and I work with people in Europe and Australia, and the range of normal iron and normal ferritin is oftentimes, I think in Australia it's like 50 different. In Canada I think in Canada it's what is the normal range? Can you think of
for adults it's 100 for ferritin.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and for babies, it can be very high because they're supposed to have very high ferritin at birth. Yeah. So you're right. The range is depending on, month to month to year, it varies dramatically.
Yeah. Because I have a client right now who didn't think their kid was on the low end of iron. And then I said, oh, but like your range is really weird over there. Like that's really on the low end of normal, because over here where we have a bigger range and it showed us being much lower. But anyways, I wanted to point out that because I'm always working with somebody whose kid is iron deficient. It's just so common. I've never had a situation where I didn't have a client who had an iron deficiency. And a lot of the times it's due to too much milk, right? So calcium interferes with the iron absorption. And again, people aren't told, especially if they're not going to the doctor on a regular basis for checkups. A lot of people miss a lot of those childhood checkups, right?
Well, and we always forget about dairy. Like it's cheese, it's milk, it's ice cream, it's cream cheese, like all the things we always forget. We're like, oh yeah, like even like an adult, how many lattes do you drink in a day? Well, that's inhibiting your iron intake, right? So you just kind of forget about all the little things you're doing, every time you have pasta with cream sauce, and it all adds up. And we all of us are feeding our kids pasta with cream sauce. So, it's just normal.
Yeah. And if kids are picky, if most of their diet is, pizza, macaroni and cheese, yogurt, cheese, milk, a lot of young kids right after they stop nursing or having formula are drinking cups and cups of milk all day long, and that's inhibiting the iron absorption. And I have a couple right now who didn't even know that, who didn't know they should be limiting the cups of milk per day, which I think it's 2 to 3 depending on where you read after the age of 1. And the parents, they feel horrible, but it's not like in our face enough. It's not repeated enough.
It's not. I completely agree. It is not talked about enough. And I know, didn't we just change the Canadian Health Food Guide? Like the pyramids now changed to a circle, and dairy's actually taken off of it. So drinking cow's milk has been removed and they put water. So, but we also didn't talk about that very much either. They kind of just made the change and moved on.
It was just sort of, when you learned it in grade 4 or whatever, now you have a plate instead of a pyramid. And actually states in the American one is still milk. They still have milk on the side. But
and I wanted to say about the Americans. So they actually screen for iron deficiency between 9 months and 18 months. Yeah. So there is a routine screening if you're going to be going to your wellness checkups for the Americans. But for Canadians, you're right. We don't routinely screen. We only do it after we've noticed the symptoms showing up. Yeah. Which is really sad for us in Canada.
Yeah, because it's free here, right? We have free healthcare. Some of it's free. Most of it's free. Like actually, we got so we still do routine iron tests with my daughter because she was diagnosed when she was 2 and now she's 8. So we still go every year to make sure that she's maintaining her levels for her iron. But the last time I said, okay, well, what else can we check at the same time? Because, we only go once a year and I don't want to do it too many times because it's a lot of work. And they did vitamin D for her, and she was actually on the low end. And so like a lot of things are just picked up, and, it's great when you see the results because you're like, oh, we are close to being low. So now we're going to address this. And next year we're going to see if we've done enough. Yeah. You can track it, and then you can nip it in the bud before it gets low. Because something like iron, if it gets too low, it's hard to build it up without taking really rough supplement
Yes.
or getting like
High amounts. And it's
you
hard,
know.
you know, when you're taking a therapeutic dose, it's a lot of iron every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's rough on the gut. Yeah, I had to take it after having my kids, and
Yeah. And
yeah.
you can take our iron at a therapeutic dose with your doctor's recommendations. And we have found that ours doesn't, it's even at the higher dosage, it's still gentle on your stomach and you don't get the stained teeth or that kind of thing or constipation. But it's a lot of product to take. So if we can deal with maintaining it at a nice level and not having to go into the therapeutic dose, it's always better.
Yeah. And yeah, KidStar, yours is the only iron. Do you have it there, or is it in the back?
Oh, I have the chewable. Chewable one's behind me somewhere. So this is the chewable one. So it's our BioFi iron. And they all say the same thing on the front. We have liquids and drops and chewables because every kid is different. And they like different things.
And for babies, they would need the drops, right? So if you would use it for babies as well. And yeah, that's the only one that I've ever had that doesn't taste like metal.
Yes, it's true. I know at trade shows we're always like, it doesn't taste like iron. And they look at you and you're like, are you lying? And I'm like, no, it doesn't taste like iron. You're good.
It's true. Most of them are horrible and rough on the belly. And that's why everyone that I tell, you know, think about taking iron, they're like, first of all, they've heard that it's like dangerous and going to kill their kid. Secondly, they've heard that it's horrible and it's going to stain their teeth and it's going to taste gross, right? And so the one you make is not a therapeutic dose, it's a maintenance dose.
So it's safe. Exactly. So it's what we need every day from food. And if we're not eating enough iron-rich foods, we definitely need to supplement. And you're right. There's a lot of misinformation about iron and the safety levels of it. And so, you know, if you have any questions, ask your health practitioners. You know, we see nurse practitioners where we go with our girls. And, you know, that's what they're there for. They're there to answer our questions. You know, iron, we need it. We need it to survive. So, you know, make sure we get the right information and we're not getting scared away by I
always tell people you can tell that it's like a lower, safer dose because you can just grab it off a shelf. Most iron, if iron's at a higher therapeutic dose, you're gonna have to ask the pharmacist for it, right? It's guarded behind there, and they ask all the questions, take this and whatnot.
It's very true. Oh yeah, no, and you know it's such an important thing to take, and if you're not getting it, like it's a very important thing, and it is very safe on the maintenance dose. We need it every day from food, so I agree.
And a lot of people, you know, the trend has been to go more plant-based, and unfortunately, people are not kind of skilled enough, and why would they be, right? You know, I know that because I'm a nutritionist, but a lot of people don't know that meat is where you're getting a lot of your iron, and suddenly you're replacing that with, you know, cheese or, you know, something that doesn't have a ton of iron. And even the plant-based ones are generally not as easily absorbed. So it's something that may come up, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it, frankly, because of the whole plant trend.
You're right. And also meat is expensive. So if you're at the grocery store, like it's very expensive. So yes, we're not eating it because of cost. We're not eating it because of health reasons. We're not eating it because of religious reasons. So we really need to pay attention to the foods we are eating. And that's why there's supplements. They supplement your diet to make sure you're filling in all the areas that you may be lacking from your diet.
Yeah. And if you're really confused, you can work with a nutritionist, right? You can call one of us or not you, because you're a vitamin. But yeah, a lot of people are very, very misinformed and are very shocked, actually, when I look at their kids' diet and say, like, there are actually quite a few gaps here that you need to address to get to some optimal mental health, optimal learning, and optimal immunity, everything else. So
I agree.
Yeah, definitely, if you have doubts, just you know, make sure you see somebody. Book a call with me if you want.
I agree.
And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about today was the Moducare. Moducare is, I'm just going to let you take this.
So no worries. It's funny, we get the same question. We have people who've been taking it since the 90s, and they're like, you know, I don't even really know what it is, but it works so well. I've been taking it forever and I love it, and I won't go off of it. So it came to Canada in 1998. It's a plant sterolin in a clinically researched ratio of 100:1. And it comes in a chewable and it comes in a vegetable capsule. So you can have it for kids and adults. Adults can even take the chewable. It's the same dosage for chewable versus veggie cap. The best part about it is it's an immune modulator. So it balances our immune system. So it doesn't boost it. And so if you're an underactive immune system where you're getting constant colds and flus, it helps bring it up. And if you're in an overactive immune system where you're getting allergies and eczema and all this inflammation, it brings it down. So it helps bring it back to harmony is really its job. And it is from a plant. So it's very safe and you take it every day. So if you have constant allergies and you haven't started taking it before, you take it about a month before hay season, let's say, and then you're able to get through that allergy season better and you can continue taking it. We have people who are able to now live with cats who have never been able to live with cats before because their allergies were so severe. So it's an amazing product and it's great for the whole family.
All right. I'm going to have to get more of that. I ran out at one point and then it was sold out for a while. You had
yes.
It wasn't
I know. It's probably during cold and flu season, probably.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, obviously everybody was buying anything that said immune system on the front of it to try and save themselves. So yes, probably. And it's just made, what's a plant sterile just means the
it's like it's part of the plant, like the cellular wall. So originally it came from the hypoxis plant in South Africa, and then they were able to find the same clinically researched blend, and now it comes from a maritime pine. So just a different tree now, but yeah. And it has amazing research on Moducare.com. They have all the clinical trials are actually on the website, so you can read them all.
Okay, that's interesting because maritime pine bark is used for ADHD as well.
Yes, for pycnogenol. Yeah.
Interesting. It's such a useful plant.
It is. It really is.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing about all your products that are great and taste good. And people always ask me if I work for KidStar because I'm always telling people to take the KidStar. I'm like, no, I just like it and it's easy because it's it's online. You can buy it in a lot of different places.
It's true. It's true. Well, we love it. So thank you so much, Shawna.
Yeah.
No, I agree. We definitely want to make sure our kids are having great quality products and ones that they actually will take.
Yes. And then they can have a nice season where they're not missing too much school, they're learning properly, everyone's feeling good, not missing work, your days are smoother, predictable days is my goal for all families. So,
oh yes, that's amazing, especially at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, it's rough, but you can do it, and we need some help sometimes. So yeah, if you have questions about the products, the KidStar products, you can ask Caitlyn, or the KidStar message. Sometimes it's someone else, but
I see them all. So don't worry. If you want to ask me a question, I will definitely respond.
Get back if you have questions about specifics like, foods with iron, foods with, anything about nutrients in kids in general, not specific to the products. Feel free to send me a DM and I can answer those for you. Okay. So thanks, Caitlyn.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy
have a great day, everybody. You too.
Bye.